So it's been a while for us to renew one of our traditions on this channel. And part of the problem is we've had a hard time finding a time when we're both right in the middle of a book.
It's really, really tricky to line that up.
Yeah, but we love doing mid-book reviews. So these are reviews while we're in the middle of books, and being able to share how we feel about them, how are they going before we finish them, because sometimes it changes.
Yeah.
And so this is a mid-book review from two of our books. We try and do these more often, but we'll see how it goes. You want to start? You want me to?
I can start.
Go into it.
So this is Skyward Flight, which actually is kind of funny because it's 3 different novellas from the Skyward series from Brandon Sanderson. And I'm in the middle of one, but I'm in the middle of the middle one, so I'm kind of going to intertwine all of it together.
So you're in the middle of the middle one, so you're like halfway.
I am halfway through
This is mid-book.
Massive theme. And it's taken me a second to get here. So the first one is Read On, which is the story of FM. I don't know if you can see her. FM is one of Spencer's friends.
Okay.
I really, really loved that story. It was really good. I gave it 5 stars. It's fun to be inside of a brain of somebody else that's not Spencer. Especially because Spencer, so the first book you get everyone together. The second book, Spencer's gone. The third book, Spencer's gone. So you haven't seen these characters in 2 books. I've missed these characters. I think they're so much fun. I do think, this one happens, this is 2.1, so it happens after book 2.
Okay.
And then the second one I'm on, is that Read On? Did I say Read On was the first one? Sunreach was the first one that I gave 5 stars. Read On's the second one, which I'm in the middle of. That's 2.2, so I do recommend reading Sunreach before you read Read On.
Are you counting these as 3 different books you're reading?
No.
Okay.
Because it's all in one.
Yep. You just said you gave it 5 stars. So I said,
just
did
like,
you go on to Goodreads and give it 5 stars?
No, just like I said, I'm 26% done, and so far the first one gets 5 stars.
Okay.
So I'll just kind of average it out at the end.
I was wondering how you handle novellas, because they are 3 different books, but it's in one book.
And they're all long enough that I feel like these could very much stand alone as their own books.
Yep.
Anyway, so I would definitely read Sunreach before you read Sundawn, because a lot happens like a lot of important things happen in order to understand what's happening in Read On. And then, so right now I'm reading Alanique. She's this alien girl. She's purple. Alanique's story, Alanique's perspective of everything that's happened after book 2. And then the third one, which obviously I have not started, is Jerkface's story, Jorgen, his story. And it's after book 3. So it's going to jump quite a ways, and I'm excited for that jump. Jorgen Waite, call sign Jerkface. It's called Evershore. So I'm really enjoying it. The second one, I'm thinking is a little slower, I've been, I won't say bored, but right now it's trending at not a 5-star, it's more of a 4-star. So we'll see how that ends up. I have to go.
Awesome.
Really good book.
All right, so I'm in the middle of Kings of Ruin by Jenn Lyons. This is a really, really good book. So here's the thing. I knew nothing of this book. What I knew is that this was on a shelf at Barnes & Noble that said, hey, if you like this book, you'll like these books. And this book was, I don't remember, but it was something great. And I grabbed, there was a whole bunch of them there, and so I grabbed like 4 or 5 from that shelf. And I have not been let down by any of them.
Good.
They are really, really good. The only one that I guess maybe I've been let down by, and it's not really let down, it was The Age of Myth by Michael Sullivan, and I'm not let down. It was a great book. What I discovered, though, is that is a series that should have probably been read after I read other series.
Bummer.
So I went backwards and reading them more in the order they should be.
That happened to me recently, too. Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah, anyway, so it just, and there wasn't nothing that spoiled it, but this is basically, Age of Myth was a prequel for these other ones. And so nothing, and no spoiling or anything, it wasn't a big deal, but just really, really enjoyed it. And so this one, really, really interesting book. You basically have an orphan who is being raised by these people. He doesn't know he's an orphan. Eventually, through his story, you find who his real father is, who's still alive, so I guess he's not an orphan. And his father's not a good guy. And there's a lot of stuff going on. But it has this really interesting storytelling technique where the main character is in a prison. That's where we find him at the very beginning. And he's being interviewed by somebody. And the person asks him to tell a story, and he kind of refuses. And then finally says, I'm going to tell my story. And so starts telling the story, except he's an unreliable narrator. And so he's telling his story, and the other person that's with him is also telling his story. And so basically, like, the first chapter is like, here, this is where it starts, I'm going to tell you a story. And so he goes to the first chapter, and then the next chapter is the other person in there with him being like, that's not where it starts here. And is telling his story.
Cute.
And so you get these dual timelines through the whole thing, where it's the same character, but these dual timelines of what's going on as it goes through it. And it just is an interesting point of view of how things work, and interesting learning about the story in two different parts, right? Of like, I'm learning about this part of his life and this part of his life, but there's still this middle where these two things need to connect eventually. And what it reminded me a lot of is the Kingkiller Chronicles, right? Of Name of the Wind, right? Where you have Kvothe telling the story backwards. But imagine if it was Kvothe telling the story and someone else also telling Kvothe's story, starting at different points.
Cool.
But I'm really, really enjoying it. It does feel like there's some tropes that it kind of falls into, but I'm fine with those tropes. I like fantasy tropes. It's interesting. And it just feels like nice, wholesome fantasy, right? There's a lot of interesting things that are going around there. It's kind of unclear who is the good people and who are the bad people still. That's very much up in the air. And I really just want to know why he's captured and in prison and what's happening here. Right? So there's a lot of stuff. And a lot of it revolves around this necklace that he has that has some special abilities. And it just is, it's been good. I would say right now, so far, it's hovering between that 4 and 5 star range for me.
Awesome.
Part of the way through. I definitely would recommend it, would definitely pick it up. What I am really curious about is, you'll notice the tagline is, what if you weren't the hero? And so what I'm trying to figure out is the hero not the hero? Like, am I missing something in this equation? And you definitely are, and it kind of on purpose, right? It's giving you these little tidbits, kind of like a murder mystery, I guess, in a way, as it goes through this process. So really, really enjoying it. I believe there are 5 of these books, and so right now I foresee myself picking up the rest of the series and
That's
finishing
awesome.
it.
That's way fun. So you do recommend it?
I would definitely recommend it so far.
Fun. I definitely recommend this, especially if you're looking forward to the 4th and final book of the series coming out November 2023.
Yeah.
I think all this stuff is important to know because all you've seen is Spence's perspective. So
well, I'm gonna have to pick it up and read it because I haven't read that one yet, and I'll need to do it before the end of the
And I'm
series.
hoping, like, Jerkface's last section, that's in between the last book and the new book. So I'm excited to see, like, lead into the new book coming out.
Great.
Have fun.
Well, I'm Blake.
I'm Jamie.
We're Blamey.
I guess so.
We'll see you later.
Bye.